coordinates. Okay, rectangular coordinates. You guys have had some practice with graphs and doing equal spacing. So rectangular coordinates.
Oh, I know.
Okay, are going to have some of the same things. You always have to have the equal spacing. Okay, so using graph paper for these when you're plotting is a good idea. You can always borrow a sheet from me. We can cut them in half, however you want to do it. Okay. So we talk about the rectangular coordinate system. We draw our coordinate system. Okay. This here, our y-axis. Give it some arrowheads. And this one is going to be our x-axis. Okay, going across. The whole figure, this whole thing, is the rectangular coordinate system, or the fancy name for it is the Cartesian coordinate system. I don't expect you to know that, but just so that you see that in the book, the Cartesian coordinate system. Okay. When we have this coordinate system here, this here is our first quadrant, our second quadrant, our third quadrant, and our fourth quadrant. Okay? So, we're going to have to know first, second, third, fourth. Counterclockwise, starting in the top. Can anyone tell me, with the values of x and y, what these x and y's will be in positives or negatives? In this one, in coordinate number 1, if we drew that point right there, and just hypothetically gave it a set of coordinates, we named that point, what would it be? Go ahead. Positive, positive. Exactly.
What positive stuff are there?
Okay, so when you count x, this way is positive, and this way is negative. Okay? And same with y. Up is positive, down is negative. Okay? So we're just saying any set of coordinates in quadrant 1 is going to have a positive value. Okay? Any point in quadrant 2 is going to have what kind of value? We always put the x first, then the y. Okay? So here, is my x going to be positive or negative? Portia? Over here? Is your x, the first one, x, we always do x then y, is your x going to be positive or negative in quadrant 2? Look at our x line. We always start at 0, right in the middle, 0, 0. Negative, beautiful. And what's your y going to be? Positive, good. So Damon, for quadrant 3, what are our x's going to be? Positive or negative? X's. In this quadrant, negative. And what about my y's? Negative, good. Negative, negative. And Jamaica, last but not least, my x's in this quadrant 4, are going to be positive or negative?
Which one? X or Y?
X's. Start with x. X is going to be positive. And what about y?
Y is going to be
beautiful. So, whenever you have a point, and we give it a name, the x comes first, the y comes second, you can look at it and know which coordinate it's going to be in based on whether the x's are positive or negative, and the y's are positive or negative. Okay? You guys maybe already know that, but just to review. So our job, like we said, we put the x coordinate first, then the y coordinate in any point, as we give it its name. Okay? So example 38.1, let's all look at that please on the bottom of 123. It says 4 points are graphed on this rectangular coordinate system. What are the x and y coordinates of the points? So Destiny, when you take A for us? 3, 4. Perfect. She went over 3 on x and up 4 on y to get 3, 4. Okay, Damon, point B, can you name it for us? What would point B have the name of? -4, positive 2. Beautiful. -4, positive 2. Oh. Portia, C, what would that point have a name of?
Oh, the C? Oh.
C, yep.
No, the negative half.
Careful, we have to put the x first.
Okay, well,
always.
no, negative 2.
Beautiful.
Negative 5.
Negative 2, negative 5. Perfect. Always put the x first. And Jamaica, last but not least, D. Name us point D there. On page 123.
Oh.
Point D, bottom of that page.
It's, you said we named what first?
D.
Okay.
We always name x first.
Okay, positive 3, negative 2.
Positive 3, negative 2. Beautiful. Alright, let's turn that page. Shows us our solutions. Alright, your job for example 38.2 would be to graph those points. So, Portia, I just want you to tell me which coordinate point A is going to be in. 4, 2. Is that going to be in quadrant 1, 2, 3, or 4? 4, 2.
Oh, 2.
4, 2.
1.
1. Beautiful. Because?
Both positive.
Both positive. Perfect. I'm going to erase these. No, happy day in the middle way. Okay? 4, 2. So if we look at here, and I've got 4, 2. Which way do I need to go 4 first? This way, Crochet? Or this way? Which way do I need to go 4? My point is 4, 2. Which way do I go first? Up or over? Over, right or left? This way's left. This way's right. Right? 1, 2. Am I good? No, how many?
Over
2 more. 4. And then up. 1, 2. And I just put my dot. Okay, perfect. Devon, with 4, negative 3, which quadrant am I going to be in? 4, negative 3. 4, negative 3. Which one? Don't just point. You have to tell me. 4. Good. With positive, negative. Positive, negative. So we said 4 will be in the same column as Portia put us. And down 3. So, put our dot. Okay? Jamaica, where will we be for negative 4, negative 3? Which quadrant? Negative 4, negative 3.
I was going to be a C.
We're going to be in 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Oh,
3. Perfect. Both are negative. Negative, negative. So quadrant 3. So we're going to need to go how many to the left, Jamaica? For negative 4, negative 3. That was left. How many left? How many little spots to the left am I going to need to go to graph negative 4, negative 3? 4. Exactly. 1, 2, 3, 4. And how many down?
Just go down and go back where you started.
I've gone over 4. And now I need to go. I did. Okay, now how far do I need to go up or down?
Down.
Down how many? My point is negative 4, negative 3.
Oh, then you mean down 3.
Down 3. Perfect. So I'm going to be kind of the mirror image of that point. Beautiful. Okay? So your job will sometimes be to sketch this yourself. Okay? If you look at the points that you have to plot, and you see that there are only points that both are positive, you can just sketch me a rectangular coordinate system that looks kind of like this. You still have a 0, 0, but you know you're only going to need quadrant 1 if they're all positive. Okay, so every time you draw a graph, you don't have to draw it perfectly symmetrical. Okay, just something to keep in mind. It'll help you save paper and save time. Okay, and you don't have to number it every time either. You can just put the little tick marks as long as they're equally spaced. So that's why graph paper is a good idea, so that you don't have to worry about spacing those tick marks and making it accurate. Okay. So we just draw on our tick marks. As long as our tick marks mean 1, we're good to go. All right. So when we sketch it, and then we're going to plot plot the points ourselves. Any questions on how to do that? Destiny's giving me a no. Damon, any questions on how to do that? Shay? Tamika? Questions on graphing, sketching a coordinate system and graphing points? No? Okay. So the last example, 38.4, we say the vertices of a rectangle. So if we have plural points, we can call them vertices. And we're going to draw a shape out of them, so that's why they're called vertices. Let's make sure we're not working on anything else right now. Okay, so vertices. So if we stick with, let's just keep using this one that I drew. It's going to get a little bit cluttered, but we'll just use a different color and hopefully it will work. Alright, so we need to graph the vertices of a rectangle. So you know when you graph this, that's why it's important for your graph to have equal spacing, because if it doesn't, you're going to have a pretty funny shaped, pretty funny looking rectangle. Okay? So at the end, if it doesn't look like a rectangle, then we've probably plotted our points a tiny bit off. So, Destiny, tell me where to put the first point. -2, -3. Quadrant which? 3. Okay? And do I need to go over 2 or over 3? Over 2, and then what? Down 3. Okay? So there's my first point. So Damon, where do I need to go for 4-2? Which quadrant? 4-2. 1. Do I go over 2 or 4? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then what? Up 2. So I'm going to just replace that point with blue. Okay? For Shay, I need 4, -3. Which quadrant will 4, -3 be in? 4, -3.
4.
4. Beautiful. Do I need to go over 4 or 3? 4, -3 is your point. Do I need to go over 4 or 3? 3? So right here? Hold on. 4. Okay? And then what?
-3.
-3. So 1, 2.
Go up.
Go up?
I mean, -3.
You told me it was in quadrant 4. Positive, negative. Positive, negative. So we're going to be down here.
Okay.
So 4. And then what?
Down.
How many? 3. 1, 2. So I'm going to replace this point with blue. Alright, Jamaica, take us home. -2, 2. Which quadrant will I be in?
The last one is right.
The last one. Which one is it?
Second.
The second one. Beautiful. So I need to go over. You've got an easy one. They're both 2's. So I know I'm going to need to go over how many?
2 twice.
2. 2 twice. So over here to 4.
No. 2 twice. I'm talking about both ways.
Both ways. So over 2 and up 2. Alright, so we'll put in our point. And then it tells us, draw the rectangle, find its perimeter and area. Okay? So when we draw a rectangle, okay, make it as accurate as you can, but I don't expect you to use a straight edge or anything. Okay, but now we need the perimeter and the rectangle, or perimeter and the area. So for the perimeter, on a coordinate plane system, you've got it pretty easy. All you have to do is count how far. It's told you how long each side is. So Damon, how long is one of my lengths right here going to be on this rectangle? Okay, if we look at where we started over here at positive 2. How far did we have to go to get down to the bottom? If we just count the spaces. 5, exactly. 5. You went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another reason why it's important that we graph accurately. Okay? And then for Shay, how far did we have to go for our length?
No.
How long is each of our...
1, 2.
1 and 2.
1, 2, 2.
I don't know what that means.
You just said how far you can go?
From here to here, how far is that? So if you look at the line on the X, how far is it between here and here?
6 tick marks.
6 tick marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can give that a 6. So what is my perimeter going to be for this figure, Destiny? 22, and we call these, if we aren't given anything else, we call this units. So make sure you give it its label. They're units in our coordinate system. Okay? Come on, tell me what the area. What's the area going to be? 30 what? Units squared. Perfect. 30 units squared, because if you multiplied 5 and 6,